Okay, here's part two of the really long question that is really good and that I really enjoy. So, I think that this is also talking a lot about community and things I've just kind of observed about Thurston County in general. So, or about society. I realized that the arts is more than like the visual performing arts. Like, I think each of those categories too are a lot bigger than I think we often give them credit for. There's even things like, I would say, like a really good waiter is a performing artist. He's creating an experience, depending on how he's feeling. He could also be doing an Oscar-worthy acting performance. And I think that, yeah, there's a hospitality in general, I think, is an art form that really doesn't give the credit that it deserves. And so I think that like the arts itself is a lot bigger than meets the eye, which is really exciting. I would also say that thinking about the community, once again, we're so lucky in Thurston County because we have quite an audience base. It is really rare to see shows that have a very small audience. We have a very active community who likes supporting the arts, and that is really cool. I will also say too, in regards to arts and politics, like, I think that those intersect quite a bit, and I don't think that there's such things as art that's not political in one way or another. I think all art has a message, but that's also what makes art so cool. That message could really be something just as unifying as like, let's all see the best in each other or anything like that. But we must continue to pay attention to the arts and not look over them as superficial entertainment when they always pack a message. I also will say too, there's things in the past, like when I went through like arts education where people would be like, oh, like classical artists, like they're the best kind of artists and everything else is lowbrow. I'm like, lowbrow, highbrow, I don't really give a brow. I think all art has the opportunity to be incredible. And I've seen quote unquote lowbrow art that was better than quote unquote highbrow art. So in general, I'm just thankful to have a brows, I guess. I really don't think we should even categorize art in that way. I think it's unhelpful, and I think it can be really reducing the quality of hard work and the quality of art that's being created in spaces that may not be as traditional as the world wants them to be or whatever. What else have I realized about the community? I had something in my brain. Oh, it's interesting too how many people want to talk about art. So, I find myself in a variety of places, not just sitting smack in an audience where everybody's bought a ticket, but like I'll be at the store or at a restaurant or at my day job, and people will come up to me and want to talk about like, oh, like, what are you seeing next, Rachel? Or like, oh, what are you doing this evening? Oh, you're going to a show? Tell me about it. A lot of people want to talk about art, even when they aren't able to attend something themselves. Like, I think people are inherently drawn to stories, and a lot of art presents stories, or it presents opportunities for people to discover more at home. Like, sometimes I'll be like, oh yeah, like, I'm going to a classical music concert. Like, I'm going to listen to Rhapsody in Blue by George Gershwin. Have you ever heard this piece before? No, you haven't? Go check it out. This is what you'll kind of get to listen for. Or, things like that. A lot of people like to talk about art. I also realized too, like, I'm so grateful for the theaters that are doing the pay what you can performances and stuff. But I think the audience still thinks, and isn't entirely wrong, to the degree in which the arts is still not entirely accessible to everyone, which sucks. What I mean by that is, there could be a family who say like they can't afford a ticket, but like, this one show isn't offering pay what you can or last minute rush or student or senior discounts. Like, they aren't able to go, or because a certain thing's not able to perform multiple times, and say it's a single mom who works 2 jobs and wants to take her kids, but she can't take her kids because she has the 2 jobs and no one, there's a lot of situations that are really complex, and it's hard to solve every single thing. Like, but I want to see more opportunities for people to go to shows. I also think too, sometimes ticket prices are really steep, but granted, those prices are always worth it. So whenever you see a high ticket price, know that it's always going to be worth it. But on that same note, I'm just a little concerned sometimes that there's a lot of feature artists out there who aren't able to make it to shows because of, da-da-da reasons. Or, like transportation is also a really big thing. Not everybody has a car. Sometimes the best schedules don't align with like a show. They could like be dropped off like a couple hours before, but what are they going to do with themselves? They like, oh, normally, I would go to eat like a couple hours beforehand, but what, they can't afford it. Like, there's a lot of issues there. So I don't have all the solutions, but I can recognize some of these little micro problems. I had one other thing that came to mind, and it was important. What was it? It's gonna come to me. Hold on. Okay. I was talking about kids and accessibility. Wow. It's gonna come to me. There'll be a little clip that is added to this video once I think of it. I can't believe I even forgot this for a second, guys. You know what is equally important in this conversation? The fact that our downtown Olympia closes freaking early. I'm annoyed by it. There is barely anything open before shows, and if I had more time in my life, I would literally protest it so much. So like, stuff closes at 5 or 6 o'clock if you're lucky. But shows don't open until 7:30 a lot of times. So what are you going to do in that hour and a half or whatever? And granted, not everyone is like me and goes really early to stuff or forces their family to go early to stuff. But I also think too that like, there are people like me who want to be like a half an hour or maybe an hour early so they can find parking, maybe get a bite beforehand or whatever. But you still might have times where you're just like walking around and you're like, well, shit, like what do I do with myself? And so I think it'd be really helpful. And I think it would be helpful not just for audiences, but I think we have enough people who are downtown around this time where it would be worth it if all businesses were open until 7 p.m. And like, I'm talking about places like your Hot Toddy or Compass Rose or Captain Little. And I say that too because there's a lot of people who are getting off of work at 5 or 5:30, and they may not be able to get to your business in time to shop for whatever the heck they want to shop for. So why not stay that extra hour open so you can serve those people or serve the people who are about to go to shows? And a lot of those people happen to also be tourists too, and you can make some good tourist money. I was talking to our Mayor Dante, and he was saying how a lot of Olympia's income is from tourism and the arts. And so why not do what we can to just kind of boost that up? I think staying open until 7 p.m. is a really good start for that. And it also keeps people safe. Selfishly speaking, I'm a single woman. Sometimes I'm at shows by myself, and sometimes it is winter. And I don't want to hang out at like McMinimans forever or wherever place forever. And they don't want me to either because they need to free up their table so they can keep the boat afloat. So I think if you're to at least stay open until 7 p.m., like you can give me time to browse around and stay safe. And not just meandering like in the dark alone. Granted, I do also take advantage of the fact that a lot of theaters open their like lobby like an hour early, but I don't always want to be hanging around in the lobby. And like not every show has gifts that go along with it, so it gets kind of boring. And it's becoming handy sometimes. Like I've been able to have really good conversations with people and all that. But my point is, Olympia businesses, figure it out. Stay open until 7. I promise you, you're not going to regret it. You don't have to do that every single night. I just think like a solid Thursday through Sunday, open until 7 p.m. would make a huge difference in your lives and in my life and in everyone's life. Do it.